Howdy y'all, my name is Outlaw, and today's video is going to be on two separate videos. Now this and the root. Let's get right into it.
In no particular order, here are 10 things we cannot believe happened this year. Number 10, Trump's shithole countries. Back in January, Trump reportedly called Haiti and African nations shithole countries.
Two things. The first is, it is reportedly. That means it could have also not happened. The other is that it's not racist. It doesn't talk about race at all. It talks about countries. And those countries are shitholes because they are poor. That's just the fact. They are poor. There's nothing else. It doesn't talk about race, doesn't talk about IQ or anything like that. That's it. Those countries are poor. That's a true statement. And some of those countries aren't even Mexico poor. They're poor. And there's also a bunch of violence within those countries with civil wars and high rates of crime. So what else are you going to call those?
And in the past year, the president has doubled down on his racist immigration policies, including housing children in detention centers and still demanding a border wall with Mexico.
His policies aren't racist for two reasons. One, Hispanic isn't a race, it is an ethnicity. Number two, Obama did the same thing. Not to the same degree as Trump, but he did the same. He also wanted greater border security, just like Trump. So if you're going to call Trump racist because of those reasons, then you're also going to have to call Obama racist for the exact same reasons.
Number 2, Starbucks and H&M boycotts. This year, people called out both H&M and Starbucks because of racism.
No, they called them out over supposed racism. It wasn't racist what either of them did.
A Starbucks employee called cops on black men for sitting at the cafe.
They were asked to purchase something. They didn't purchase anything. They said they were waiting for a friend. And when they were told to leave, they didn't leave. So eventually they called the police to escort them out. They resisted. They got arrested. The end.
And H&M had a young black boy model this hoodie.
Nothing to do with race. Just because the kid is black and it says monkey on it doesn't make it racist. There would have to be intent. And I doubt anyone at H&M had any intention for it to be racist. Well, now that that is over, let's go on to the next cancer.
The midterms may be over, but there's a lot that remains uncertain regarding women's health.
Trump has made his views on abortion, sexual assault, and women in general very clear.
If you're talking about his comment, grabbing them by the that was, according to him, all consensual. I'm not saying what he said, or supposedly did, wasn't disgusting, it just wasn't rape or sexual assault. And there's nothing wrong with being against abortion. Really, there isn't. Quite frankly, I don't think he goes far enough. I believe abortion should be illegal after the 6th week. And I don't hold these beliefs because of religious convictions. I hold this belief because of scientific fact. Brainwaves can be detected after 6 weeks. And I believe brainwaves determine whether there is life or not.
That could have some serious implication for several important policies.
Over 4 million people rely on Title X,
The nation's program for affordable birth control and reproductive health care, which helps those with low incomes afford family planning, STI treatment, and cancer screenings.
I'm just going to say this. I don't believe the government should be responsible for your health care. Not women's, not men's, no one's. That is your responsibility. Private charities can help, but not the government. The government should stay out of healthcare. And I'll have a video in the description explaining why I'm against government healthcare.
The Trump administration is trying to make it so health centers that provide or refer people to abortion services
Would no longer be allowed to serve patients through the Title X program. No Title X funding goes towards abortions in the first place, but that's not stopping Trump from pushing the prospective gag rule, which would prevent millions of Americans from getting access to much-needed healthcare services.
The government indirectly subsidizes abortions. Here's an example of how that happens. Think of a restaurant. Let's say the government gives the restaurant some money to pay for some of their expenses. However, they cannot use it to pay for the expenses of their food. Instead, they can only use it for electricity and water consumption. But since those things are being paid for, their expenses are down, so they can lower their prices to get more sales of their food. This means that because you lower their expenses in other areas, they can reduce the costs of their other services. That is how abortions are indirectly subsidized.
Many medical groups have said it's unethical to keep information or care from patients because it would be impossible for health centers like Planned Parenthood, which serves 41% of the people in the Title X program, to remain in the program under these constraints.
You mean the Planned Parenthood that almost solely provides just abortions and provide very few health services?
People who can't afford health care or can't find another reproductive health care provider may be left with nowhere to turn. Most people who rely on Title X can't afford usual doctor's appointments.
So the most vulnerable individuals end up suffering if it's taken away.
And I'm sure the services you're probably referring to are just abortions, because those services, other than abortions, are still covered because other places are going to get that funding.
At least 1/3 of the patients who will be affected by the gag rule are people of color, and more than 1/3 are Hispanic or Latino.
All that information is irrelevant. This isn't a race or ethnicity issue.
There is already a massive divide between who does and doesn't have health care in this country.
So, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. That's just how it goes. There are charities who will help you if you can't afford it. So go to those. It's not the government's responsibility to take care of your health care.
Just the day after the midterm elections, the Trump administration released final rules allowing employers to opt out of providing health insurance that covers birth control.
Good. An employer is not responsible to pay for your birth control, nor should they, I think, be responsible to pay for your health care. That is your sole responsibility.
The Department of Health and Human Services and the Trump administration have been trying to dismantle the rules in the Affordable Care Act, requiring most employers to offer health insurance that covers birth control for over a year.
And these updated rules allow even more companies to opt out on the grounds of sincerely held religious beliefs and non-religious moral convictions.
Well, that's good, because not everyone likes a slut. That also goes for men too, so don't get your panties in a twist, girls.
Birth control is essential health care that 9 out of 10 women will rely on in their lifetimes. And removing more means of getting it easily could mean more women will have to sacrifice it, and more unplanned pregnancies could result.
Yeah, birth control's main purpose is to prevent pregnancy, so it's not essential, because there's a 100% way to prevent pregnancies, and it's called abstinence. You don't need sex to survive. Unless you're raped, it is your fault that you got pregnant.
Under Title IX, schools must ensure that all students have equal access to education while prohibiting discrimination, including sexual harassment and sexual violence.
Under President Obama's administration, assault that occurred between 2 students had to be investigated, even if it was off campus.
The Obama administration also emphasized that colleges should measure sexual assault cases against a preponderance of the evidence standard, where disciplinary action is taken if it's more likely than not that an assault occurred.
Title IX is terrible. Investigations should just be left up to the police, not schools. For one, they don't have the same resources as police stations do for these kinds of things. 2, it is very hard to prove sexual assault or rape. It becomes a he said, she said situation at that point. And there are women who lie.
But Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and the DOE have proposed new rules for Title IX that would eliminate universities' responsibility for investigating off-campus incidents,
while allowing a school to choose the former policy, or invoke a new policy allowing schools to raise the burden of evidence on survivors without giving them additional tools to collect it. This means that universities would be legally responsible for fewer assault cases.
To be honest, I don't think that goes far enough. I think it should just be left up to the police and the courts. If the person is found guilty, then they can expel them. If not, then don't do anything. Unless there is video evidence of rape or sexual assault, the school shouldn't do squat, because the claimed sexual assault or rape could be a lie and could destroy the accused reputation.
And if assault victims do come forward, they'll have a much more difficult time getting justice against their attackers.
Supposed assault victims. A person is innocent until proven guilty. As I have said, that person could be lying about the sexual assault or rape, or they could be mistaking the person they accused with someone else.
As it is, campus sexual assault crimes rarely end in justice for the victims. And if DeVos's changes are made official,
They would make it less likely that schools will take action to protect survivors.
You cunt. Innocent until proven guilty, you dips. They are not victims, they are supposed victims. You can't just listen and believe.
As well as elevate the rights of aggressors.
They're not elevating the rights of aggressors, they're giving back the rights of the accused.
There is some good news, though.
with the House of Reps now being a pro-reproductive health majority,
You mean a pro-baby killing, man-hating majority.
It will be harder for Trump to change or eliminate these policies.
there are plenty of women heading into Washington who are ready to defend the rights Trump is threatening to take away.
They're not your rights. You have taken away these men's rights. They have the right to be found innocent until proven guilty. Some men have already lost their livelihood because of who lied. And it pisses me off that you think that this is your right. It is not. That's it. I'm done with this disgusting stuff. Some topics just get my blood boiling. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, share it, comment down below and tell me what you thought. Follow me on all my social media like Minds.com, BitChute, Gab, Twitter, Facebook. Also, support me on my Patreon, Maker Support, Ko-fi. Also, follow my website. It has all my previous videos that I've currently uploaded, and it has all my previous comics. It also has some links to my social media and also to my merch store, so you can also buy something from there as well. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope all of you have a wonderful new year, and I'll see y'all later.